Hello everyone, welcome to Open Up, a Mighty Feel series about communication. My name is Ten, and today we're going to talk about I statements. I statements are a popular communication strategy when dealing with conflict or potential conflict. They help us avoid making generalized statements and keep us focused on what we think and how we feel. I statements are supposed to center our experience without passing judgment. For example, in a large group at work, you might want to say, "We're all annoyed at meetings going overtime." But you might say this when you don't actually know how other people feel. An I statement would look like, "I don't like when meetings go overtime because then I have to rush to my next task and I feel very stressed." This is useful because it only talks about what we know, which is our own experience. And it avoids conflict because we're not putting words in other people's mouths where they have to correct us. I statements are meant to express our feelings and thoughts in a way that leaves room for other people's feelings and thoughts. So I statements are supposed to be an alternative to you statements. For example, "You make me feel sad when you do X" would change to, "I feel sad when you do X." This makes it clear that we had a reaction based on the impact that someone else's action had, but it doesn't accuse someone of making us feel something on purpose. Another example would be, "You aren't listening" would change to, "I think we're talking about different things and I'm feeling disconnected from you." This moves away from accusing someone of not listening when they might just be misunderstanding and focuses on what you think is happening and how that's making you feel. The point of an I statement is to get away from broad statements that we can't verify, that accuse people of things that we can't see, and keeps us focused on how actions or lack of actions have had an impact on us and what that impact was. However, lots of people think that just because they said I, that means they're using I statements, and this is not true. Saying, "I think you're a bully" is still an accusation. You just added "I think" or "I feel" in front of a you statement. Just like boundaries, I statements have to be about us and our experience. So how do we know if we're using I statements effectively? If you say yes to any of the following statements, it's probably not an I statement. Does my sentence start with "I think you" or "I feel that you"? Am I using accusatory words like unheard, rejected, or neglected instead of naming my feelings? For more information on why this kind of language is important, you can check out my video called "Why Are They Mad That I Said How I Feel?" Have I only talked about them instead of naming how I feel? Have I forgotten to name a specific behavior? Am I speaking on behalf of other people? Am I passing judgment on their actions? For more information on judgmental language and switching to non-judgmental language, you can check out my video on that topic too. So why does this matter? I statements seem very simple at first glance, but when we dig down into it, we have to make sure that we're using them in a way that furthers discussion instead of create conflict. It can be hard to say how we feel when all we want is for someone else to change their behavior. But accusations and pointing fingers isn't typically an effective way to create change, and puts the responsibility of our boundaries on somebody else. And if you want to know more about ultimatums versus boundaries, I have a video on that too. So that's it for this episode on I statements. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. I appreciate all the liking, subscribing, sharing, the things that you're doing. I am so grateful. Always love to meet new people doing this work, and I'm glad that you're here. So thank you for that. I can be found on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and patreon.com if you have the means to support me just a little bit. $2 a month gets you access to extra content, extra stuff. We'd love to see you there. So I think that's all. You're great. I hope you feel great. And thanks for watching.